Hey, it's Kevin. Welcome back to the Road Warrior. I commented about this on my podcast a couple of 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't even remember what I did. It was so long ago. It was just something that got me thinking. My nephew, who's a freshman in high school, is on the football team up in Indiana. And we went and saw a game this year, and it was very cool to go see it. But because we live so far away, we can't go up and see him. And he rides the bench most of the time because he's a freshman. But we actually were able to see him play an entire game. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And now these days, I spend all my Friday nights looking for ways to either watch or listen to him on the internet. And the technology that we now have, like doing these video blogs, which I could, again, do live if I wanted to, is not only astounding to me, but what's more astounding to me is how, while the world has changed so much, again, like I was saying on my podcast, I grew up in a world where my dad first started doing play-by-play on the radio for local high school teams. And we would travel from state to state following the team. There's no radio stations following his Catholic high school in Indiana. It just doesn't happen. Every now and again, they may be one of the local featured games. Depends on how their season is, depends on how the other team's season is. When they travel to some of the small towns that have radio stations, maybe they're played on the radio or not. I found one company who was doing an internet broadcast where they broadcast his game. That was kind of cool to listen to. To me, it seemed like a fan in the stands. And he had commercials, because boy, let me tell you, during halftime, instead of, going to the radio station, he just hit a tape and played all of his commercials back to back to back to back, I think for about 12 minutes. In the real world, I wouldn't have listened to it. I would have turned away. But I was so amused and so entertained and just so enthralled with the whole process, I stayed there and listened to all of his commercials as my wife was texting back and forth with somebody about something else. And I thought about the possibility of I could actually go to the games and take a video camera, if you're legally allowed to do that, and record the games and place all their games up on the internet and do my own version of play-by-play, because I have the technology. I have the ability, as long as there's an internet connection, and I can attach it to my phone and then do an internet connection, I could do live play-by-play, and not just me, but anybody could do it. You could literally stream every single high school game in America because we've got the technology now. And the reason I brought all this up is I was wondering why schools don't do that. Mark Cuban made a lot of his money because he wanted to be able to hear Indiana University basketball, because he went to the University of Indiana when he was living out west, out in Texas or wherever it was. And so he founded a company, Broadcastcom, that basically built that capability to do it, where people could pay a subscription and log in no matter where they were in the country and listen to the basketball games. And now, thanks to satellite radio, I can listen to every Chicago Cubs game, Chicago Bears game, with the hometown play-by-play, no matter where I am, as long as I've got my satellite radio. They do it for college. I listen to my beloved Radford Highlanders during the NCAA tournament, or during their run at the postseason, or whatever it is, during their Big South tournament. I listen to their streams online because I'm streaming the radio station that is the official home to the program, and I'm able to stream it through my speakers, and thanks to the technology I've got, can listen to it on the big screen. Very interesting thought process, that if people were out there and had enough interest, had the kids who wanted to run the AV program, could actually do play-by-play. The reason my mind is blown is because I started doing play-by-play on real radio stations when I was in my teens. When I was still in high school, I would join my father and do color commentary for the basketball team I ended up joining, my high school team, a couple of years before I played. And then did high school and college football and basketball and minor league baseball after I graduated, before my career took a different path. And I thought to myself, if I was wanting to go into the broadcast field now, I was wanting to be a play-by-play man now, I would grab my GoPro, I would grab the internet version, the Wi-Fi enabled GoPro, make sure I had a signal, hook up a little board, and actually go to the games and broadcast the games as a kid. Man, I love technology. Sometimes, yes, it can be maddening, it can drive you crazy, but I love technology. And the opportunities are so there. I'm rambling. Back next week, and I'm running long too. You can tell this excites me. Back next week, another Road Warrior, kevinmason.us, up on Facebook, up on YouTube. You know the drill. Subscribe, share, tell a friend. Come on back. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Wow. This is exciting to me. The thought process.